Yeah.
This is the coolest show in the history of television.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the coolest show in the history of television. Yeah.
Yo, well, hello. Welcome to episode 54 of the Toy Owl Podcast. What's up? This is Dave, and I'm here with the wonderful Mr. Kevin. What's up, Kevin?
Hello, David, and thank you, everybody, for being here for our weekly dose of lightsabers, Infinity Stones, and all things plastic. I think we're on episode 55 for all the people keeping score at home, so that's pretty awesome. What's up, everybody, on the YouTube world, and for those watching us, I guess, later on YouTube, as well as those that listen on our Spotify and iTunes platforms, whatever it may be, whatever your drug of choice may be. Regardless of which one you choose on how you listen to us, we thank you that you do. But if you do listen to us, can you make sure to give us a review? Can you make sure to let us know that you actually like that we're doing it? Because scratch our egos, we would appreciate that. Make sure to follow us on our social channels. You know how this goes. You know how it goes. Dave, I'm an insecure person, and I need to sometimes feel good about myself by people interacting with me. So hopefully people do all those things that I've told them to do.
Yeah, I mean that's why we did a podcast. We're the insecure toy boys. You know,
I know. We just sit here and say like, hey man, let's play with our toys. And hey, you think anyone else wants to talk toys with us? It's like the coolest show in the history of television.
Basically, I just want to like play with toys, make toys, pose toys. Like I just want my life to be about toys, and like not like real world stuff.
I know they were onto something. It's like where a kid can be a kid, and I don't want to grow up. That's me. And man, R.I.P. Toys R Us in the U.S.
R.I.P. our boy Jeffrey. Jeez, dude,
yeah.
I'm so sick of like that carrot getting dangled. Like every 6 months there's like some jobber or something like that like is writing an article or makes a post or something, and it's like, oh, Toys R Us is like looking to make a comeback, and then everyone starts posting their excitement on Twitter or whatever, and it's like it's not going to happen. Sure, there might be like those like seasonal stores that go in, like the calendars to go stores at like the mall or something around Christmas time.
But why do our Canadian friends get them and we won't here?
Because they're a completely separate company. Like they might as well be like the Giraffe toy store. Like the Giraffe toys.
So let me ask you this, Dave. If you could bring back one, and this may be a topic we could use another time. If you could bring back one store that has been deceased, which one would it be? Would it be Toys R Us? Would it be KB Toys, Johnny's Toys? What would you think?
So not toys, but very much in that realm. I mean, dude, there's so much low-hanging fruit now that I'm thinking about. Dude, Blockbusters. I mean, come on.
Okay.
But like from like, it could still work. Like Blockbuster, I get it. No one wants a chore of going and picking out a movie. It's like, dude, if
my
I
buddy
can
Randy
on my
Marsh
couch
thought it was going to be fire.
Yeah, yeah. So, but did you have Sam Goody or Suncoast Video?
Oh, dude, I was going to say Suncoast. Suncoast is one of the ones I wanted to have. That's where I actually went and got my first Star Wars piece, I guess, that was, new, because they had these like vinyl statues of like Boba Fett, and I got that for like $9 from Suncoast. I used to love going to Suncoast.
No kidding. That was probably one of my first that I like bought with my own money from Suncoast Video at shout out Fiesta Mall, and I got I don't know why, but I got a Han Solo, and then I got the C-3PO and R2-D2, and I still have them. But they were like those like vinyl kind of plastic. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, Boba Fett was the first one I had, and I was like, "Oh, they're bringing Star Wars back!" And then I think Uncle Tim was like, "Hey, slow your roll. I've seen this song and dance before." And
throttle back.
Yeah. So, but then what do you know? Here we go. Right now, we're having our intergalactic Star Cruisers for $6,000 a week. So Star Wars is back, baby.
Let's get that Patreon going so get out there. Yeah, dude, that's just absurd. But if anyone's in a financial situation where they're able to do it, dude, fuck, bet your ass. Like I would go on something like that if I just had like money, coming out the wazoo. Yeah, I would do like the 3-day stay. I still don't. I mean, okay, yeah, they're gonna teach you how to play sabacc, and then you get to go to Batu with anyone else that just can go to Batu. It didn't seem like it was really. There's no like additional experience. It didn't really like sound like.
All I know is that the food better be badass and incredible, and I want it to be. I want the little bread that Ray would put the water in. I want to see that. If I'm paying $6,000 a week, I better get some really pretty sweet raisin bread.
I want like a 22-ounce bantha steak, like sirloin. I mean, just give it to me all, dude.
Yeah, some dewback legs. Give it all to me, man. But speaking of movies, I guess we might as well just jump right into the Jedi Council, shall we?
Yep. Yeah, let's do it. And I'm gonna skip the transitions, but yeah. So I mean, we're not gonna go too down in the weeds because there's a million other podcasts and YouTube channels that are gonna provide like a better in-depth deep dive on the Suicide Squad. But like, if you're a fan of DC or just comic genre film in general, like you probably watch Suicide Squad this weekend. And first impression, Kevin.
I would give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay,
so that's better. Enjoyed it.
That was better than Snyder Justice League, then, right?
Yes, I think I've really suffered from how long Snyder Cut was. Is as epic and exciting as it was. This was a fun movie, and I actually was, like I said, I was in Cincinnati with my boys this weekend, and my buddy Joe asked me on Friday, said, "Hey, did you watch Suicide Squad?" I was like, no, not yet. I'm going to watch it, when I get home. He's like, "Well, let me know how it is." I was like, "Well, what do you think?" He's like, "I loved it. I loved it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so I was honestly 15 minutes in, I texted him and said, "Man, I love this. This is fantastic."
Already tell, right?
Yeah, and I love a movie that gets out of the gate and grips you, and you can keep watching it. There was a few slow moments, which is in every movie. It's not perfect, but I thought it was very well done. So shout out to James Gunn and the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was pleasantly surprised because ever since that first was that Rotten Tomatoes, oh, this has never happened before, 100% in critics. So I was like, okay, well, I wasn't really expecting much. I mean, actually, I take that back. Ever since they attached Gunn's name to it, I've had high hopes about it. The guy just never really misses. So I was...
Yeah, even the cult classics and the nuanced little side projects he's done, like you had said, there's nothing that's ever bombed that he's touched.
Right. Yeah, didn't he do Slither? That was his first... I think he did Slither, and that was his first kind of breakout film, and that thing still... It's awesome.
But I think go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, back to Suicide Squad, though, all the actors in it were amazing. Dude, John Cena. I mean, I just haven't really seen a lot of movies with him in it where he's kind of not the goofy dad or something so him being in a role like this, I was like, dude, he can act. That was kind of my takeaway. It was I want to see more John Cena, just out of any other wrestlers that they're pushing. I mean, dude, The Rock is still The Rock, but dude, John Cena is a pretty good actor.
Yeah, I've always thought that he has so much charisma, and he can take something serious and make it funny. He could also, if you go back to Trainwreck, which I loved him in Trainwreck as well, yep. He can play the serious role as well, but it still ends up being funny because his delivery is always just so well done.
Right.
And I mean, I would say Cena was a standout. Margot Robbie was fantastic. But Idris Elba, I thought, really stole the show. I loved him in that, and I was so glad they gave him an opportunity to shine.
Yeah, man. Okay, so we're on the same page. Yeah, because I already kind of rated it. I used Letterboxd, but I gave it a solid 4, and it's 4 out of 5. So really enjoyed it. I right after I posted that, my kind of recently viewed Letterboxd thing, I had a buddy hit me up and he's like, "Was it really that good?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh wow, that says a lot. I wouldn't have thought you would have liked that." And I'm like, I'm not a big DC film guy. I mean, the Batman's aside, like that's like almost like a separate universe from like DC today, you know. But it was the best one. Yeah, I liked it more than the Snyder Cut.
And I liked that it was, and we're not doing any spoilers on this. And I like how it was a contained film where it knew that it wasn't taking itself serious, which made it better. If you want to think of it like that, it was so absurd that it was like, okay, this is a comic book movie, and it's the way a comic book movie should be. I feel like even the way they always praise Snyder for the way he makes cinematic, almost like comic panel type imagery, and I felt like this was shot the exact same way. There were so many really wide, beautiful shots that I thought were really well done. So I would love to see them continue on with that, but apparently the big controversy right now is that apparently it's not doing well at the box office. But is anything doing well at the box office? I mean, they have to see that the streaming files are obviously up there, and I think most people are watching it there, but I don't know. I'd love to see them continue to do something with it.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to see the streaming numbers, they just need to ask ScarJo, and she'll advise that they're probably pretty good.
Yeah, which is a topic for another time. And what a black eye, to that final Marvel send off. So yikes.
I guess she's really dead then. They're not bringing her back now.
Yeah, I guess this is a Yelena show now moving forward.
Yeah. Okay. And lastly, in the Jedi Council, so I mean, Bad Batch. Are you caught up for this week? I'm a couple episodes behind, but I'll have them done before this weekend or Friday.
Yeah. So this was part 1 of the finale, and last week, leading up to this was really, really good. A great episode. And this one was a really, really good episode. And I think, Filoni knows what he's doing when he kind of wraps seasons. And like the last couple episodes are always like balls to the wall, which are fantastic. And I won't spoil anything for you or our viewers, but quite an interesting turn of events towards the end there. And I can't wait to see kind of how it pays off for next week.
So let me ask you this: are you? I already know the answer to this most likely, but if you're ranking the 3 films, we won't even throw Resistance in there, but Clone Wars, Rebels, and Bad Batch. What's your favorite to least favorite?
Resistance doesn't count. That I don't even consider that canon.
We're already scratching that.
It's already out there, board. Just like you said. I would say the last 2 seasons of Clone Wars cannot be touched. That's absolutely the best.
Yeah.
But I would say that this first season of Bad Batch is better than the first seasons of Clone Wars. So it's kind of like right in the middle there, if I'm allowed to do that. And it's exponentially better than Rebels. Even with the Thrawn, even with the Ahsoka stuff, I still think it's exponentially better than that.
Yeah. Good call in the first couple of seasons of Clone Wars, because I remember I had to just push through that. Like it was too kiddie. But yeah, after season 3 or like midway through season 3, I think I was like, okay, this is getting really good.
Yeah, and they're doing all the right things. And I think they learned, because it's so funny. Everyone hated Ahsoka at the beginning of Clone Wars, and now she's like the most beloved character in all of Star Wars, which is crazy to think about. And then they're doing the right things with Omega, and everyone likes her. So, and then this season is better than the original bit of Clone Wars. So, as you just kind of hinted at, we are getting season 2. So I guess we'll see how it goes from here. But if this is any indication, if it follows the same trajectory, I'm pretty pleased on, ultimately what's going to be coming down the pipe from Lucasfilm Creative. The one thing I hope to see a little more of, and I don't think this is a spoiler, I mean, this is the beginning of the Empire, and I would like to kind of see more of that, as opposed to just hey, let's go do a side mission, with the Bad Batch. I feel like there was a little bit too much of that this first season, but at the same time, it's a story that they're probably trying to fill some episodes with.
That's basically where I'm at with Mandalorian. Like I'm really hoping in season 3 we get like season 1 and 2. It was pretty much just the Grogu show. So season 3, I'm hoping that they explore the rise of the First Order this time. So kind of similar to Bad Batch. I want to see like how did I want to see like more like takeovers and stuff like that, like inside the galactic kind of Empire and whatnot. So
yeah, because I loved seeing like the little bits of it where they're like, all right, turn in your Republic credits for Empire credits and make sure you have your passport. I was like, yeah, kind of creepy, in today's world and things like that. Makes you wonder.
Where's your vaccine card?
Where's your cards? So that's interesting to see. But I want to see, what is Palpatine scheming? I'd love to kind of see a little bit more of that. And that's one of the things I loved about Clone Wars, that they brought Palpatine into it, as Sidious. Yeah. So I would love for them to kind of bring Palpatine back into it, to kind of say, all right, here's my Empire. Let's do something with it.
Yep. Okay. Well, yeah, that'll wrap up Jedi Council then. I mean, yeah, we haven't, this is kind of like a modified tube talk, but yeah, I was really excited to talk Suicide Squad for a little bit. But like we said, if you want more in depth, stuff, you take your, pick your pick on YouTube or whatnot there. But
if I give a suggestion, go to Red Letter Media's. I love their review because they always do like the half in the bag. That's one of my favorites.
Okay, yeah, I haven't checked that out. What is it again?
It's called Half in the Bag. It's got Mike Slotska and Jay, I think. You'd know them if you saw them, but they're pretty funny. Nice. The VCR repair guys. Okay.
All right. Well, yeah, let's hop into Star Wars. Not a whole lot, but there is some, when it comes to pricing and stuff like that with Star Wars, specifically what Hasbro does, I think even like before COVID, we kind of got, the rumbling, I think directly from the Star Wars team, like, hey, pricing is going to go up. So we did
those like surveys, like, what do you want type of thing, right?
Yeah. And I mean, vintage collection, we know they're going to be getting the thicker card stock. Their prices are going to be increasing again. So this is kind of like the second time that we've seen some sort of increase from just a 20 USD situation, MSRP and whatnot. So I think now it's like $22 or something like that, or ish, for a standard Black Series. And then the exclusives are even more. So now they're saying prices are going to increasing again, kind of because of transportation and shipping costs. And this is all, you can check this out on yakface.com. And then they're going to be having roughly another $1.50 for a standard Black Series, or I'm sorry, $2 for a standard Black Series. So that'll be close to $25 MSRP on just a standard.
That's high, man.
Yeah. Standard, dude. Standard 6-inch, and the exclusives are going to be in the $30 mark, and then the deluxes are going to be in the $40 mark. I mean, I feel like, when I entered the 6-inch world, I was like, $20 was even like too much. But then I started seeing, how the action figures made, the people behind, the sculptors, the paint, the licensing fees, like it totally makes sense now. But yeah, dude, like I'm glad I'm scaling back, even more on Black Series now, because I can't justify spending, and everything's pretty much exclusive anyway. So that's like a 30 more than not, you're spending $30 instead of $20. So that's crazy, man.
Yeah, and I, as you know, I've scaled back myself and switched to 6 scale. And one of the things that was the biggest driving force behind it is that, say I wanted to get a wave, if these waves, a figure, let's 5 figures in a wave, 25, 30, $40 a piece, that's a 6 scale figure. And you don't have to worry about hunting it down. And I'm not telling anyone to, jump ship or anything like that. But if you're going to demand and dictate those prices, I really feel that there has to be something in return. You can't just continue to put the same thing out and raise the prices. I understand inflation and cost of living, things like that. I get that. But I really have a hard time thinking that, adding an extra gun or an accessory is not going to break the bank for them. They need to not reward, but incentivize, the customer to, if you want to keep buying these things, giving you a reason to.
And not just panning it off like, hey, it's shipping costs, whatever. We're passing, the cost to the consumer. Yeah, dude, it's just it's just crazy. Even the Legends, right? Like, is that going up with the Legends too? I'm assuming that too.
I mean, I would assume so, but
you're at least getting to build a figure,
I've always thought the Legends were a better value because, for one, the roster is so much deeper, and then you do get the Build-A-Figure, which is something that Star Wars doesn't have. And I don't know. It's an interesting thing to see. We've talked about it before. I mean, I would justify that price if they included a Build-A-Something. I really think that that's something that I would, if I was still into it, that would be appealing to me. I'd be like, okay, I can justify that because I'm at least getting something out of it. And I don't know. I feel like they're going to lose a lot of people on that.
Man, I mean, like I'm seeing more and more people reacting to that, and like, oh, I've looked for a reasoning to get out, and this is it. Like, so, like, whatever. If you want to be completely out of on the line like that, do whatever you want to do.
I mean, and they can do it. I mean, you look at the GI Joes and what you get with those for the same price. Yeah. So, I mean, I have a hard time thinking that the strategy teams and the meetings on budget, something's not trickling down properly. And I don't know if that's the design team or what. But if you're doing this for GI Joe and everyone's loving and obsessing over, your paint apps and your accessories and your sculpts, certainly you can give us something in a Black Series figure, but maybe I'm just asking too much.
Yeah, I think when George Lucas, he was just so pissed off at how bad that contract was with Kenner that he was like, no, when I'm making these prequel movies, I'm getting like 99% of the profits, and like I'm flipping it because he was so bitter seeing how much millions and millions that he lost on the shitty Kenner deal. So he fucked Hasbro bad on licensing fees, and they have to like literally it probably costs them, they lose money making figures, like that they have to cut a check to Disney now.
That's a great point, and I hadn't thought through that. I forgot about the licensing deal, and I guarantee you the license for Star Wars is quite a bit more than G.I. Joe. So yeah.
Well, and Hasbro owns G.I. Joe, so it's like,
you're right.
Like it's like the Spider-Man pointing, like, you're paying me, like,
there's our economics lesson. Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's why, and like the basic consumer might not understand. Like they might look at the G.I. Joe and look at the Black Series and think it's apples to apples, but it's not when you really start breaking it down. But well, what do you think, dude? For Vintage Collection, we got these promo shots of Anton Merrick. I remember, we did cover it when that was announced on one of Hasbro's deal there. But yeah, here it is. I mean, this is basically just a repaint of Luke's, X-Wing, right? I mean, this isn't Pose, so this is.
Yeah, and it's the old, X-Wing. It's not the modified one, and I mean that anything labeled with Rogue One is a fan favorite, and it's always well done. And I mean, it's Blue Leader. I mean, look how cool that looks, and I love the little dio they have set up in the back there. You got Gonk in the back, you got R2 and 3PO, and there's Chopper as well. I didn't even see that there. That's pretty cool. It's a good figure. It's a great pack. I'm excited for our Vintage Collection friends. This is one, if you're in the Vintage Collection, you'd better be adding this one to your box.
Yeah, I think so too, because at this point we've gotten, this would be our third or possibly our fourth X-Wing, in the kind of the newer era of Vintage Collection. So chances are once you buy one, you're buying all of them, kind of thing. And I think they get clearance pretty good. Like I always remember.
I don't think
stuff.
I was gonna say I don't think I've seen a Vintage Collection piece stay full price ever. Unfortunately, if it sits around, it sits around. So I same with Jabba's Palace, all that.
The play sets and vehicles for sure they're getting discounted. Like that would be the safest thing to, like, if you want to play like the whole long game thing with like toy hunting, like do it on like a Star Wars Vintage Collection play set.
Yeah, you'll be able to get that from the Walmart aisle for like $9.99.
I think I got a bunch of those Jabba the Jabba Palaces for like $5 or something like ridiculous.
Oh, really? It did drop that low?
I can't remember if it was 5 or 15, but I remember it being like, because I think it was $50, right? When it
which is absurd. Absurd.
All right, man. Well, let's jump out of Star Wars and we'll go into tipping the scales. So I'm I'm excited about this one, but go ahead and tell us.
Yeah, so we're big fans of The Boys here, obviously, and we have our Mr. Butcher, which is Billy Butcher from The Boys, officially released. But okay, that I guess that's okay. But man, there is a secondary sculpt that is a little bit out there. What is that?
They're rough. Okay, thank God that we weren't gonna get like in a fight about this, because I didn't. Usually when you put stuff on tipping the scales, it's because you like it. So I was like, dude, this is rough, man. If Kevin's like gonna push this and he likes this, like I'm gonna.
Because look at that one. I mean, that's not a bad sculpt. You have to get the lighting right and such. But I have no idea what the fuck that. I mean, what in the cinnamon toast fuck is that? What is that? I mean, the baby. I mean. Look at the hand. Good Lord.
That looks more like Hugh Jackman than Carl Urban.
Yeah. That's a total miss. I mean,
rough. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I mean, look at that little baby. I mean, that's got cool little LED.
See, that's not bad.
Lights on there. No, that's okay-ish. But that smiling, grinning sculpt, I don't know what they were doing on that. That is so far off base. But I'm sure. Let me just say, because they have Mr. Butcher here, and John Lander is going to be the one that's up next. If that smiling sculpt is that bad on Mr. Butcher, I'm very hesitant on what the rest of the Homelander sculpts are going to be. I'm very, very hesitant.
Has So done? Is this the first kind of offer for the Boys they've done?
It is, and so we have this one. Obviously, we have Homelander coming, and then they tease Starlight as well. Which, if let's just stick to one, because that's fine. If you want to stick to one sculpt and nail it, don't try to get overly zealous and put out a piece of shit like that, because that I don't know what that is. I mean, and how creepy is it? Like, I understand the plot point of keeping the baby, with the laser eyes and such, but save some of the R&D on that and go give me a real sculpt. That's ridiculous.
Could you imagine, like you got say you guys have some friends over, over for the weekend, have some drinks, and you're showing them your toy room, and they're not really they don't know what the Boys are, right? They've never seen the show, and they just see this figure of the creepy Carl Urban holding a baby. They'd be like, what does Kevin have?
Yeah, sitting right next to my werepup. I guarantee you, they're like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And it's pretty rough. And if you actually display that head, then I have no idea what is wrong with you. So just go ahead and customize it for something else.
Yeah. That's rough, man. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into our top 3.
Yeah.
And hi, August. Hey, buddy. So, let's get in our top 3. All right, so this is Kevin. This is I think this is your idea. Let's tell everyone about this one. This is a fun one, very creative one.
Yes. So, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the Marvel What If week on Disney Plus. So make sure to check that out. We're going to be getting the what if scenarios of Captain Carter and the Hydra Stomper and Zombie Captain America and all these.
Dude. Zombies all day.
It's going to be interesting, to say the least. I couldn't tell if it was serious or not, but I had actually heard that Thanos is one of the Ravagers on the Star-Lord thing. So I guess we'll see how that goes. So that could be cool. But in the spirit of what if, I said, what if we did some what if Star Wars options? Because we all have, and that's one thing about Star Wars, it's defined canon. There's no alternate or multiverses. So we are going to open up the multiverse of what if some Star Wars stories. And so I have 2 that I'm pretty feeling good about, as well as one that's a little bit iffy. But Dave, I think hopefully we can help each other through our ideas. We may have some crossover because we haven't looked at each other's list yet, but this I think should be a fun little segment.
We'll workshop this bitch. Yeah, this is so I have 3. 2 and they're literally in my ranking. 1, I'm like, oh, I fucking want this so bad. And 2, I can, all right. And 3, I've liked lesser and lesser as every day has gone on this week, but still fun nonetheless. So if you guys got any for the a top 3 around this, throw them in the comments. We'll get them up there. So okay. Well, you want me to kick this off? I'll get the bad one out of the way.
Yeah. So I'm going to throw the bad one out, or you are going?
I'm gonna get my number 3 out. So this time we're going with kind of the Disney cut of the original trilogy. We're not going with the Lucasfilm cut. We're going with the Disney cut. And that's Greedo, in fact, shoots first and he doesn't miss. And Han shoots last, but misses. So we're looking at Greedo just murks Han Solo right off the bat. So A New Hope starts, Han Solo out of the picture. Haven't really worked the whole, like, I just kind of thought about it a couple hours ago. I'm like, well, it's not like Chewie's just going to like stand there and be like, all right, I guess I work for you now. I'm going to work for you now, Greedo. But and then Greedo then goes back, to Luke. He finds out the docking bay. He goes there. He's like, you guys got to get out of here regardless. So we're getting on my new ship, the Millennium Falcon, takes Han's keys, and he's the brash, gunslinger, Greedo.
See, I can go with that. I thought potentially that it could be where Chewie essentially goes berserk and rips Greedo's arms out of his sockets because that's his boy. That's his boy. I don't think you would just let him walk onto the Falcon and say, "Okay, you're my captain now."
Sure, unless you're able to. You could, like I said, we can workshop this, but we could get the life debt somehow. Greedo saves Chewie, or like because he killed Han. And
he's like his slave captor type of thing. He's back in prison or something. Okay.
It transfers over to the person that killed, the person that he owed a life debt on, something like that. Those Wookiees, man, those goddamn Wookiees, they're crazy. They got weird traditions. I don't know.
Yeah.
We can make it work. Yeah. So that's it. Again, the more and more I thought about it, I'm like, I don't really need like Greedo. I was just thinking like listening to his voice and like do like the iconic like quotes, and I'm just like,
Guta Solo.
Yeah, but like him saying like, when he's like on a tauntaun, like trying to get Luke, and he's like, then I'll see you in hell. No,
that'd be good too. Like, especially like, hi, we're fine here. How are you? That boring conversation anyway. That boring conversation anyway. What an incredible smell you discovered. That could be pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, your smuggler Rodian. Yeah, there you go. So Greedo, he's going to be the new face of Star Wars. He's the new sidekick. So there's my number 3.
Okay. So I like that. One follow-up question: does he end up getting the princess as well, or does Luke end up staying with the princess?
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, we could go 9 million ways on that, but I wasn't
keep it self-contained. We'll keep it contained. All right. So this is the one that I can't land the plane on. Okay. So I need you to help me land the plane. Okay. So my what if scenario is that Mace defeats Palpatine. Okay. And because of doing so, Anakin ends up growing to mistrust the Council because that was not the Jedi way. And because of his paranoia,
because Mace killed Palpatine,
right? And he needed Padme, to stay alive. He needed Palpatine for that, and so he's going to have
resentment.
Yep. He's going to resent, and he still can't come out of the closet, with Padme yet. So his paranoia drives him insane. The twins are secretly born. Anakin leaves the Order to be with Padme, and that's where I'm at. So does he flip and try to take out the Jedi for ruining his life, or does he live happily ever after? Or I was also thinking he also goes into this like overprotective mode that ends up, because she's still a senator, that ends up seeing her assassinated or something, which then starts this chain of events back, to kind of tie the thing back together.
Right.
But
I think if you're keeping like, if you want to have it like kind of link back to like kind of like what we know today, like Darth Vader and whatnot, I think you need to keep the kind of path of fuck the Jedi. Like they ruined my chance, trying to save Padme. Like all my eggs are in Palpatine's basket, and Mace just tossed him out of a window or whatever. So now I hate the Jedi, and like he becomes like, like a Jedi assassin would be pretty badass too. But
right.
But it could go back to Darth Vader, like that's his turn.
Yeah, and maybe that was Palpatine's plan the whole time, is just to get ultimately Anakin to fall. And then possibly, there's we know that Palpatine had all of his plans underneath. And so possibly someone comes up from the underworld to say, hey, now that you're Darth Vader, let's start the final order. Here we go again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that. And I think, it was hard to do like the what if for this Star Wars and just like create like completely different endpoints. So like most of my stuff, like I was thinking like, yeah, there was like a big change, but at the end of the day, kind of like Anakin still became Darth Vader. It just happened to be like because Jar Jar Binks like killed Palpatine or something, but he still becomes Darth Vader,
Right. And so, and that's the thing that I think is so interesting about Star Wars is that there are defined moments. And so if you go back to Loki and, where the branches split and all these different options is that when you move something in the Star Wars master timeline, it does create ripple effects because there's so many things that are intertwined. So if you knock a pillar out from one, it fucks the entire thing up. Yep. And so you have to keep the story going, which I think is kind of interesting and fun at the same time.
Dude, I mean, if the Marvel one is really successful, like I could totally see them doing something like that, with Star Wars, like they kind of like how they do what is it, Visions, the anime kind of version. They've already said like this, what happens in Visions is not canon. So like they could just do stuff like that where it's like, it's just having fun. So you don't have to get all butthurt because Luke is an old bad guy and he doesn't like his friends anymore and he would never do whatever. Like that could work in that show, All right. Well, shit, man. Yeah. Let's go on here. So number 2 for me. All right. So and I think this could be like a perfect candidate if they did do a show, but it's the twins are getting separated. Old Lukey goes with old Uncle Ben and Leia goes with Bail. Well, let's just flip them. So now we got Luke Organa. We got Leia Skywalker.
So he's the prince of Alderaan?
Yeah. Yeah. He's the prince. And, he could do like the whole, bureaucrat kind of stuff.
I dig that. I really do dig that. Yeah.
And then Leia would basically be Rey. Like,
I like that. It works well.
I was trying to think like, how would she kind of be, being on a farm by herself? And I'm like, yeah, dude, she would basically be Rey without like parent issues. But yeah, I mean, she would still, I guess, have parent issues. But like, yeah, I mean, fixing, she could fix her. She could go and get the goddamn motivator herself and fix her, land speeder. I mean,
yeah, and I love that. I love how, essentially, she'll walk in and he could say, you are a little short for a stormtrooper, and it would make sense. It'd be perfect. Yeah. It would be perfect.
Yeah, so
that's almost like too easy and too much fun. It works out so well.
Yeah, like I think it's a very like if I asked like my mom, like, hey mom, can you think of like a what if thing? Like she'd be like, yeah, just flip Luke and Leia. Like they got separated and just give them, just like a Freaky Friday kind of thing. I think it would be a lot of fun.
That'd be fun. I do like that. That's a well done.
All right, man. What's your number 2?
All right. So number 2 for me is a little bit of low hanging fruit, but don't worry. Number 1's going to be good. But Luke does turn to the dark side at the end of Return of the Jedi, which then sets up episodes 7, 8, and 9. But this time, after Luke turns to the dark side, Palpatine and Luke escape and live to fight another day. And Leia simply takes up the mantle as the chosen one to where she has to go and, either win her brother back, kill her brother, but she's also the leader of the rebellion as well. And so she has to either go and kill her brother or, save the galaxy. I think that was like one of the original like story concepts that Lucas even came up with, but I like that.
So would it be Luke becomes, he turns over to the dark side at the end of Return of the Jedi. So
right, when he says, take your father's place at my side, he actually does it.
Yeah. And then so the sequel trilogy is Oh, so Darth Vader's still alive, or does he defeat?
No, Darth Vader dies on the Death Star.
Okay, so he dies on the Death Star, but Palpatine and Luke get away.
Right. And then they destroy the Death Star, and so then that allows Palpatine and Luke to go back to basically gather the Empire's not gone because the Emperor is still alive. And so
they can rebuild.
Exactly. You just keep the Star Wars going, essentially.
And then Leia's the new protagonist then, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Man, I love that. I mean,
it could be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I would feel like you would need to have done that like a couple years after the OT though.
Right. It needs to be seamless.
It wouldn't work now.
Yeah, it's got to be seamless, and you would have to have had a vision for 9 episodes, to continue that to make sense.
Yeah. Okay, nice. All right, dude. All right, so my number 1, and this is where I kind of got like, yeah, this could be like a what if, but it's probably more like a shit. What are they called? Like an anthology film. This could be an anthology. Like this is something that like it could have happened. It was just not on camera. So I read one of the short stories on from a certain point of view, the Empire Strikes Back one, and they there's a little story about this, but it's going to the beginning of Echo Base. Okay, so the rebels show up to Echo Base. It's not like that installment was just there. I mean, it might have been there, kind of like what is it? Crate. That there is that like mining. Yeah. Like I'm sure Echo Base was some sort of like pre-existing mining facility or something, right? But they still had to like go in there and get it fucking operational and do shit, and so. It takes place then. So Luke and gang, they are not there yet. Then, we go to it's around the Wampas, and there's an existing Wampa family. Daddy Wampa, he's out looking for a kill. Well, while he's out looking for a kill on like a long hunt, he comes back and he finds all these spaceships. The rebels are there. They murdered his family, clearing out, the base, very territorial. And so he finds this and he's devastated. Obviously it's a Wampa, so he's not going to talk and whatnot, but it's basically goes from that a sob story to like fucking Friday the 13th, where this Wampa is like Jason Voorhees and is like literally like hunting down the straggler rebel soldier that's like doing fucking like satellite checks or something like that, and like he's like just taking out all these rebel soldiers, and then it kind of could lead directly into that the Wampa that Luke kills could be that last one.
I dig that, especially if you could ever get around and get a rated R blood and gore type of thing. That could be super cool, especially like almost like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre type of thing where you're being hunted by, somebody, and you kind of just like, the threat is out there. Almost like Jaws as well. The threat is out there and you have to kind of navigate your way around. That could actually work really, really well.
And we could build up because it was kind of like the Wampa is actually kind of like it could be pitched like he's the good guy. So you could have it like that, or you could pitch it where it's like, yeah, he's just the bad guy. This happened. And then there's like the main character that's a rebel, give him like a fun backstory, make him canon. And then he gets killed at the end. So he's then, off the books and he's not involved in the sequel trilogy and whatnot. So that's why I was thinking, like, that's more of like just from a certain point of view, like, because it could happen, and I would want it to be like the official first Star Wars horror like film short.
Yeah, and that's it's so easy to do, and I think people have an affinity for Star Wars creatures, and I mean, the Wampa is beloved. I mean, they make giant pillows of him, so who doesn't want a one-armed Wampa? That could be a lot of fun.
All right, dude, what's your number 1?
All right, so number 1, let's wrap this bad boy up. So let me go to my little note sheets. So we're going back to the Duel of the Fates, all right? So Maul has killed Qui-Gon. Maul is standing over Kenobi and just taunting, doing all those things. So Maul defeats Kenobi, and so he kills both those Jedi. And so obviously Anakin's up in space doing the thing, and Maul's mission was successful. The Naboo mission was successful, and so the Phantom Menace kind of just resides back to the background into the shadows, but Palpatine is still working as well. Anakin goes to, obviously, the Jedi Temple to get a new master. We can pick whoever that's going to be. Sure. But while at the Jedi Temple and such, he meets another Padawan that's there, Ahsoka. Okay. And so then
you're going to say Grogu.
maybe, but and so they all work together and become good friends. But during this time, Maul ends up setting up his Crimson Empire, because he's still alive and all that stuff, and finds out, that Palpatine's getting ready to fuck him later on. And so he said, okay, I'm going to be my main antagonist. And so he has to, so Maul is going to be fought by Anakin and Ahsoka once, that's kind of like the Mandalore type of thing. They all meet, on there, because he finally gets Anakin, he finally gets Ahsoka to meet him there, and they have another duel of the fates to see how that all goes.
That's kind of like the new duel of fates.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because if he ends up killing Anakin, then nothing else happens, then Maul succeeds. So Maul is kind of like the anti-villain,
Right.
So
dude, I mean, anything where Maul is it's got more, just screen time. I mean, like you could make him like the main antagonist. Like I'm all for. I mean that's
he's such a good character.
Yeah, I think that's why so many people disliked Phantom Menace when it first came out, because they just marketed the hell out of Darth Maul. So you just kind of already, whether you meant to do it or not, it's in your head. Darth Maul's the new, like the main bad guy, and then he was just like killed right away, or was he?
Right. Obviously, if you've not seen Clone Wars, you might want to check that out.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. But yeah, I mean, he was on the freaking card back, for all the figures. They were like, oh, look at this guy. And then, just slice him in half. All
right. Well, yeah, dude, this is a very fun top three. And it was fun to just like think of. I was constantly,
you could let them snowball. You could certainly let them snowball, and you could have a lot of fun, and you could just keep going and going and going.
Yeah, we might revisit something like this, and I mean, even after the Marvel shows like done and aired and whatnot, we could probably do another one on Marvel. But
season 2 of Star Wars What If, it could be fun.
Yeah, dude, I skipped it. What'd we get this week, man?
I'm glad you asked, because we got to keep the streak alive, right? So yes, let's go into our pickups over here. Hold on one second.
We got to get Matt Cardona to give Kevin's blessing for the Blitzway Ecto 1.
Yeah, so that's something we'll need to talk about possibly next week, because for those that don't know, I currently have my Justice League figures on eBay currently. All of them are over $400 already on the bids. One dude was actually offering me, he's like, would you take $700 for Superman? And I'm like, I'm about to respond to him after this and say, sure, if you want to, message me $700 for Superman, I mean, let's go for it. Yeah. So that, like you had said, it could be the Ecto 1 fund, but yeah, we'll see where it goes. I'm out on the Justice League. Once they announced Cyborg, I said, hey, I'm not going to get him, and everyone, the hype for them is real. So let me help, our DC little fanboys out there.
And I think you're picking a good time to sell too. I mean, if you really wanted to make out, you would have done it like during the Snyder Cut thing, but I don't think it went down that much.
It didn't. And I think as it gets closer, people are going to be amping up for him. But right around that release time, people are like, ooh, I need to complete my league. So I capitalized on that. So nice. The Ecto 1 could be coming, with that fund. But yeah, Matt Cardona wants to go ahead and sponsor. We're all good for that.
But so where is that? Is that like right in probably like downtown Nashville that he's doing that signing or something?
Yeah. He actually is a good friend of the people at Totally Rad Toy House. He stops in there a lot.
Okay, yeah, I have seen him post from there. Yep.
Yeah. So Nashville's a small little world, but I think it's over. If I think it's like near like 21st, I know it doesn't mean anything to you, but like 21st, the Belmont, Vanderbilt area, kind of near my wife's salon. So
okay, well, Yeah, give him a sticker and tell him, that you want to buy the Bulletsway Echo 1. All right, dude. So I got a fucking decent mail call. You ready for this?
Go for it, my brother.
I got to get up, dude. It's that big. We got.
Oh shit! You got it,
dude. This thing is look at the piece count on that 3,292.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at the wrong one. I thought I was looking at 75,000. Wow. Okay.
So we are talking about the Lego USC. Sorry, I always say USC. UCS Republic gunship, dude. And yeah, this thing is the box that it came in was huge. Lindsay was like, "What the fuck did you order?" Like, I mean, it was just.
That's what I was gonna say. Did you get it straight off Lego? Or, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Lego. They sold out. Like there was I think I don't know if he's in here anymore. AZ Figs Oliver. I think he went and like there was like a line out the door because there was a couple things that were released that day, but I think that was like the hot kind of item. And there's only one Lego store here in Phoenix, I think, and I can't imagine that the stores would get like more than 10 maybe. I mean, they're huge boxes, but I just got it on lego.com, free shipping, like no problem. I got it. I think it's been a little over a week.
So when is the build gonna commence?
My son Connor's been literally like up until this point of starting the podcast, he's asked me like every 5 minutes, when are we going to start that Lego build, Dad? I'm like, tonight after the podcast, you and I will do it. And then 5 minutes later, hey, so is it like after swim lessons or before supper? Like, when are we going to do this? And I'm like, dude, like chill, we will do it. So he's gassed up, dude. He can't wait.
So how long do you think this one's going to take?
Well, I think the Slave 1 that I have back there is like I think it would take like 3 Slave 1s or 2.5 or something like that to make one of these piece count wise, and that took like a solid like 30-45 minutes a day for like a little like a full week.
Oh wow. Okay, so this is going to be a couple week trip.
Yeah, I mean, I don't build on them for more than like 30 or 45 minutes at a time, so I kind of just take my time with it. I'm not going to spend 6 hours and, do it all in one sitting.
It's funny. I asked Uncle Tim, I was like, are you going to be getting that? He's like, I don't have the room for that because I just got the Daily Bugle. That's one that he just got. So he's excited about that one.
So he didn't get the gunship?
He doesn't have the room for it.
Yeah, I am a little curious on the wingspan because when you like take the wings out, like it's a lot. Like it's almost like exclusively would have to go on top of a DTOF, or like something like that,
Yeah, that's got a nice little silhouette, but that's pretty sweet, man. I hope you and your boy have a good time with that one.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be fun, man. So now, I mean, so this was rumored along with the Deuce, the second Death Star, and there's been no word on the Death Star, and they didn't announce the gunship at that Lego Con, and they obviously didn't announce the Deuce at the Lego Con, and then like 3 weeks later, they announced the gunship. So if they announce the second Death Star, and I'm assuming it's going to look great, that will probably be like the new biggest Lego. Like I could see that being bigger than the Millennium Falcon one. That's like the largest Lego piece ever.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume it would have to be. I mean, they don't ever take a step back. It's always a step forward.
And unless it's just something shitty where it's like this is the Death Star and it's just like the outside,
just the Emperor's Tower or something. That's all you get.
That's it. Yeah. So I want like the one from like the classic Death Star where they got all the compartments and the trash compactor and shit like that. I think that's
you need to be able to get like the docking bay with the shuttle Tidarium and the Emperor's Tower and all those good things.
Yeah, the jail cell. Okay, all right. Well, let's move on over. We'll get close to wrapping up our show here. Marvel. So tell us about some Marvel, and I'll get these listings up.
Well, Dave, you didn't get to let me say what I got.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Jesus.
Yeah, we gotta keep the streak alive, you know. And so finally, we got in the Armorer, and I haven't even opened it because I've been traveling. But the Armorer is in the house, Hot Toys exclusive, as you can see there. So that's pretty exciting. And also, my other 501sts came in, so I don't know what I want to do with them. I'm probably just gonna stash them because I just don't have the room for them, man.
Yeah. Dude, the Armorer looks great. I can't wait to see some shots on that.
That will be coming tomorrow, so be ready on the IG, everybody. As you can see right there at Kiko Collects. Make sure to follow that for some toy photography. I was actually talking, I don't know if he's on there right now, they call me Solo, about possibly starting an Instagram simply for my YouTube channel, as opposed to my photos, just because, I don't know, it's hard to market both of them, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yep. Good old social media, man. All right. Well, now, sorry, I was a complete asshole. And now we can talk about Marvel.
Yes, it is the Marvel time. As we jump into these things, we do have some great updates to Galactus Watch that we'll give you in a few moments. But we had some Fan First Fridays and some big reveals that came. That being, starting with this lovely X-Force multi-pack, and there, ladies and gentlemen, there are the legs to Cannonball. Everyone was wondering where they've been. And then you got a new kind of comic accurate Domino, as well as Richter, which I know people are kind of excited about. If you're a fan of X-Force and if you're a fan of these, I know people are excited about them. I still think it's absolutely egregious that we got the Cannonball figure, and they're giving you the Cannonball base again, which I don't understand. I'm pretty sure if you have Cannonball, you probably already have that one, but it is what it is. $60. I believe that it's on Hasbro Pulse, Hasbro Pulse exclusive. But the stars of the show, as we have Galactus Watch coming up, we did get some new the Retro Fantastic Four with a couple bonus pieces. And those are available to Hasbro Pulse members first. And I believe some of them have already sold out. So if you missed out on those, tough luck. But check these out, man. I love the cards. They look incredible. You got your Retro Human Torch. Obviously, you have your Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic, The Thing, as well as Mr. Psychic and the High Elemental. Not High Elemental. What's the word we're looking for? High E something. Is it on there?
Yeah, poser alert. I have no idea who a Psycho Man is. So yeah, I was just never. Fantastic Four was never really my jam.
Yeah, and they've also just butchered it in our era, if you want to call it that. Right. And I've just never been able to jump onto it. So
sold out.
People, yeah, people are excited about this one, man. They will be available later on. I believe they're not just going to be Pulse exclusives, so you can still be able to get these bad boys. But they look great, man.
Doesn't look like they're Pulse exclusives. What's this? So we had like the Walgreens exclusives, right? And then we had the kind of first wave with the different outfits, and then now these. I mean, like especially doing Galactus, you want to give everyone another chance at these. I know the Walgreens ones were, getting, I wouldn't say scalped because it was like way after they're bought. They've gone up in value. Yeah,
the Thing was always the hard one to get, which I still think that Thing is probably the best one that we've gotten. Yeah. Even better than this one. There also is a new Human Torch as well. I know there's I thought maybe it's not on the carded one, but that was revealed as well. He's like a Flamin' Hot Cheeto red. It's a very interesting color. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. I did see that.
High Evolutionary. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, that one might be sold out, but dude, these card backs are so sick. Like, I know I'm not a card, min on card collector, but yeah, these look great.
I love the circular packaging. It looks so cool. I was
just gonna say that, like, whenever they do like something different with the card back, like with the Clone Wars like card, like giving it the antenna, like I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, these just look like they could be sitting right on the pegs of KB Toys or Toys R Us or what do we call it today? The Giraffe Store?
The Giraffe Store.
The Giraffe Store, yeah.
Suncoast Video, right next to the Giraffe Store.
So those are available if you need to get those. Obviously, check out Hasbro Pulse, check out Amazon. I believe a couple other places have them, if that is your fancy. But the big topic of conversation, obviously, is a Galactus watch. And Dave, we're down to 20 days, and we need about 300 more. So talk to us, man, about the goals.
This is going to be tough. Like that, Kevin and I talked about this, kind of getting ready for the pod, and it's coming down to it's going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to be pretty similar to the sail barge, where I do think this will get funded. But if you're looking at strictly like the current data, so from last
crunch the numbers, baby.
Yeah, last week it was 10,413 backers this time last week. Now we have 11,333. So that's an average of 131 backers a day. Okay. And to get to 14,000 in 20 days, we need 133 backers a day. So, if it's
going to be razor thin if it happens. And the trend that you mentioned is that it's not picking up steam. It is definitely losing steam, which is a little bit worrisome. I hate to say it, but I think we can probably kiss those tears goodbye.
Yeah, dude, there's no way, unless something freaky, like I said, with the sail barge, like it was kind of down to the wire. And then like once it hit, I think that there is like an influx of people that were like, maybe like rationalizing with themselves, like, oh, fuck, like, okay, I'm not going to do it. But like, if it does fund, I'm going to do it. And then like, maybe you got all those kind of like bandwagon guys jumping.
The real posers.
Yeah. Yeah. Like jumping in as soon as it got funded, because it was funded by another like 2,000 or something like that. Like I think they made like 7,000 or something, and it was only 5,000, which is also speaks volumes into how ridiculous this 14,000 marker
is. It is madness, absolute madness. As I said, if this comes back to bite them in the ass, if they do end up funding this and then they end up putting it like 25,000 for the Rancor, I'm going to be pissed about that.
Yeah, I don't see the Rancor. I don't know. The Rancor will probably have more backer count needed than 14. I bet you it's going to be like they're going to want like 20,000.
See, that's absurd. And we can talk. I don't want to derail this train, but I do not want the Rancor to go the way of the Cookie Monster.
Rancor.
Let's
talk about the next Rancor HasLab. Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Patrick.
But it's going to be tough sledding for sure. Yeah. I mean, so 20 days, anyone that's wanting to get this, I just feel like they would have got it already. Like, what are you waiting for at this point? Like, I get it if you're like, oh, yeah, I need to wait until I get paid like next week or whatever. Like, yeah, I'm sure there's those situations, but like, I just don't see it increasing on average, and it needs to. It's been decreasing every week, even after they announced the first tier, which is just a figure.
I don't know how this works, but if you like, can you cancel an order like before obviously it goes to production? Can you like say, oh, I'm backing it, and you to put your card information and all that stuff, and then you're like, I'm out? Is it possible the number could drop or change?
So before the like, say if I backed it tonight and then I canceled it tomorrow, could I do that?
Right.
I don't know. I've never tried it, but I do know like once it is funded, it's too late. Like because they run your card, it's on an authorization. Right. As soon as that the day gets to that endpoint, it's like processed. But yeah, I don't know if you can pull out once before the backing time. You probably could.
Right. I also think that, I wonder if there's like any like NRDs or something, because I'm sure they don't want 5,000 people backing it and then pulling out at the last second,
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. So if you're out there listening and you are planning on getting Galactus and you need a little bit of help, why don't you go ahead and call your friends, say, hey, my Galactus buddies, let's assemble our Fantastic Four out there and let's get this over the finish line. So I hope my Galactus friends.
I want to see it, man.
I hope I hope they can get it for those people that are really excited about it. But it's going to be an interesting race to the finish, man.
And if they don't, dude, that one that Dwight has is going to be more valuable than like the fucking rocket firing Boba Fett, you know?
Oh yeah, because I mean, I guarantee they have a few of them out there in production somewhere.
They definitely have a couple because they like serialize them. Well, I don't know what they would do on Galactus. He probably has a fucking actual like serial like engraved number like on like platinum or something, like a fucking like a low jack in it, you know?
Not bad. It's his vaccine passport.
Oh my God. All right.
Anyway,
let's talk about this.
Sorry about that. So we do have some news that the Iron Man Neon Tech 4.0 is shipping. It's interesting. All these Toy Fair exclusives, they don't do any product photos, which I thought was interesting. They just ship them out, and there you go. So, but this one looks really cool, man. As you know, I got this one pre-ordered. Mine's already on its way from Pop Collectibles. I did.
I think you're on the fence on these. Or this is your first one, then?
This is the only Neon Tech I like because this one looks sick to me.
Yeah, it's definitely the better one for sure.
Yeah, it's a good armor, and it's not just like black plastic with
blue.
Yeah, I mean there's actually like some camo on there, digital camo and such. It looks good, and so I'm excited about that. When I actually saw a review this weekend of some of those bloggers and stuff that got theirs already, so it looks good, man. So I'll hopefully have that in the next week or so. But yeah, so if you want your Toy Fair exclusive, make sure to grab it.
I feel like with the right lighting on this, I mean, this could just be such a crazy fun figure to do a photo shoot on. I mean, just everything would bounce off of them.
Yeah, if they don't want to do the product photos, then I will do them, and I'll make sure to add those to the Instagram page. So yeah, I'm excited for that one. It looks pretty sick.
All right, man. Well, let's go into Dave's leftovers, and it's very werewolf themed today. Very, very heavy on the wolves. We're not talking about wolf pups.
I was going to say, are there any werepup updates?
No updates. Damn. I mean, you're going to be like we're going to be the official werewolf, or what is it? Wolf puppy podcast.
Yeah, the werepup podcast.
The werepups.
Anyway, Dave's leftovers. Let's go.
Oh I'm my God. We're the Werepups podcast. Okay, so NECA revealed. They revealed the figure for the American Werewolf in London wolf a while ago, but we just got the packaging shots. I honestly forgot about that. The figure. I've had it on a Big Bad Toy Shop with like a slew of other things. I was going down like my pre-order list was like, holy shit, I have so much stuff on there, like because you don't have to put anything down, so it's just like add to loot. So I have just like just bullshit stuff that I've just been like middle of the night on like Saturday, I want to buy something, and it's like, oh, I need a Masters of the Universe Scareglow, and I'm like, no, I don't. So there's a lot of that, but these packaging shots, man, the box is hefty, and so this figure is going to be hefty, man. I can't wait. This is probably going to be something that will be on my top 10 figure of the year. I'm really excited to get this now.
When is the release date on that?
So I think it was next. It might have been October, but Big Bad's always, pun here, bad at like their like ETAs. They're like worse than Super 7. So who fucking knows? But I'm sure it'll show up at Target first, and then I'll do the whole like I'll try to find it, and then I'll just cancel my Big Bad. And then we're not done with the wolves yet. We're not done. Have you heard of COO model?
Never until this moment.
Okay.
Oh, so sick.
They are making a bunch of fucking, like, I'm trying to think like of a comparable. It's not really Mythic. Like if Mythic Legions made werewolves, just like almost like under
legs.
Yeah, like almost like underworld style, like Lycans versus vampires. And there's like 3 different of them, but they got a little Mezco kind of situation, with the stand, the flight stand, a very beautiful little base.
Diorama base.
price point obviously is a little, that's in the Mezco range, but with Mezco, you don't get any kind of diorama type thing on your stand.
What's the scale on this?
So this is 12th. So this
cool.
This is like a 6-7 inch
7 inch. Okay.
Figure. So like I said, this is a Mezco, it's got soft goods, the kind of hair, is it hair follicles? The hair follicles on the werewolf aren't really, I bet up close they don't really look that great, but I just think it's cool, man. Kind of like when we talked about
that's a beautiful piece, man.
Yeah, what was it? Azubis Studios. They did like the mummy figures, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but these are cool. They just showed up. There's like 3 different versions of them. There's a Jungle Howl one and like some other ones, but they're up on Big Bad. I just got like the notification yesterday. So
has that been added to your pile of loot?
This guy might on come on Saturday.
Gotcha.
Because dude, like it just looks great, and I could even that's the werewolf from London. Like I mean, a werewolf's kind of a werewolf. So
write your own story. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go, man. And then lastly, so we got some PowerCon stuff. I totally forgot PowerCon was even happening. And it is, and like I think it's next month. And Mattel shared the exclusives, and they're pretty sweet. I know you and I were not big Motu guys, but like, dude, the toys are pretty fantastic, man.
Yeah, we can certainly appreciate them. I can tell you that.
So this is a Evil Horde 4-pack.
Look at that packaging. Lord have mercy,
dude. And I feel like I'm trying to understand it here. Do you think these 2 top pieces just fit together, and then the top of this is
it's like a little right? It's like a little cake. Yeah,
it's a little cake. Okay. Yeah, that's sick. And then I'm guessing this box is just ginormous. Dude, badass. So that one is, these are all long gone. Like there is a complete shit show. We'll kind of get into that when I review them all, but that was $150. So, remember these prices. So we're looking at $150 for the Horde pack. Second exclusive, we got, a 2-pack. And this is a Faker and Duplicat, which
I've always loved these. I've always loved the Faker figure, and
Faker figure's
so good. Yeah.
Him and Scareglow for some reason, or like the figures that I'm always gravitated to, like when it comes to Motu. But this packaging, I mean, it's identical to the He-Man and Battle Cat one, but just obviously with the Faker flavor. So that one would run you $60, and then the last one is an accessory pack, and again, awesome packaging, dude. Anything jail. I've seen a rug of this kind of trapdoor jail thing. It's awesome. But
I'd rock that.
Yeah, and here you go. Beware the Dwell of Souls little accessory pack. It's literally like 4 things. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it comes with the figure, but it's not that many accessories. It's not like a NECA accessory set.
Right. It's a little scarce.
A ton. Okay, so now let's get into the nitty gritty stuff. So, and that one would run you $40. Okay. So now let's go to good old eBay. We are looking at, for an accessory set, 18 bids of what was $40, $455, and there's a few of those.
Insanity.
The Faker 2-pack, 49 bids.
Look at that.
35.
Are these real, or is it going to be like the Major Blood bid?
I feel like there's a lot of these, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, people asking for buy it now for the accessory set for $500. Like it could be like, when Major Blood was going for $5,000 or whatever.
I think it got to 15,000 or something ridiculous like that.
Look at these offers accepted, man. So best offer.
Oh wow, they are real.
Yep, 500. another 400. Someone bought the fucking power, all 3 power cons, or no, just the 2 power cons for $1,000. So yeah, dude.
So retail's like 300 for everything total, if you right.
Retail would be for all 3. You're looking at 210, 240 retail.
Once again,
throwing shipping. Let's call it 250, 260. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I just heard this. I think they sold out, and you couldn't get them online. Like they sold out, but you had to like pick them up, kind of thing.
Got you.
So I think that's why they're going to be like kind of how like a Star Wars Celebration exclusive should have been. You know,
these
what I mean?
Motu fans are ravenous, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, like we need to do a meme of the Spider-Man meme of it's like Motu and G.I. Joe and Star Wars, and it's like you guys are the ones that are like inflating the scalper market, and like they're all pointing at each other.
Yeah.
Because G.I. Joe is bad, Star Wars is bad, but yeah, dude, I had no idea Motu. Damn, I think they're just really hard to get because you have to go to PowerCon.
Right. And I love, my exclusivity. I've talked about that. Yeah. And, I've paid exorbitant amounts of money
for the bougie boys.
I can be some bougie boy when it comes down to it. But I think that triple retail is, I don't know, that's a little bit out there for me.
Yep. Well, I think that's it, man. So on that note, let's end on Evil Bay. And yeah. So good luck to, anyone's going, like have fun. I hope you're able to get those exclusives because they're going to be fucking like grails.
Yeah. And be careful. Don't get like stuck in a back alley where someone mugs you for them because that could be a dangerous situation. Lord.
Give me your goddamn accessory set. Give me your PowerCon 2021 Mattel Origins accessory set now that you paid $40 for.
Where the fuck is Faker?
Yeah. I'll fucking kill you. Give me your Faker too.
Well, this got dark really quick.
All right, man. Well, this is fun. Thank you guys for hanging out with us on this lovely Tuesday night, and hopefully if you're listening on whatever streaming platform you're listening to on the podcast, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. So till next week, we'll see you guys later.
Peace.